Jung found the crucial thing is the story, for it alone shows the human background and the human suffering. And only that point can be reviewed and looked at by the doctor if he's to begin to operate a cure. If the patient could be led, he found, and I found also, to tell his story, or her story, this story is about an operation of the psyche, a journey into the inner area of the mind made by scientists on a living organism, of a live body we find, to fix the radio-like television apparatus, the vision area, the vein in the mind that was clogged and stuck by an image that was foreign, and to peel it off layer by layer and reveal the true image, beauty that healed the beast. That was the story he wrote. This lawyer, psychologist, student I was watching, the painting, the picture in the mirror of which he spoke, the inner nucleus of the prototype chromosome, so that it can make... I read on what he wrote in the script, so that it can work and produce music, happiness to the sufferer. In other words, he wrote, I remove the blockages in the veins of the brain, so that I can overcome dementia caused by drunkenness and communicate with my muse again. In the further dimension, music was needed in varying degrees of indication of the energy that overcame the blockages and removed, showed the pledge to redeem the surgeon. This was the story that I found that he wrote, and we used it as a script and projected it up onto the television so he, paralysed in the brain, could read and start to consciously understand what the swamp was on the map, but the other areas that wound down in a vortex to the castle, the inner soul, the inner self, we called it. So read on, I thought. Swastika has reversed. A strange medicinal Tibetan symbol that was called a Philfot, F-Y-L-F-O-T, by the Indians, has revealed on a map the numbers going backwards, the play scenes. I followed. 5, 4, act. I remembered now suddenly the words. I saw her nipples rotating like a swastika turning. She was a robot. The night in Prince's castle had opened. Of course I'd found the combination. I unconsciously had removed the breastplate of the night. The robot. I'd been listening to a tape. I'd heard it. I'd been let in. It was the miracle. Yes, I'd gone into another place, another time. A play, acts. 5, 4. It was new ground. I knew I'd found these seagulls. I heard Dr. Marmaduke. Divine. Hi. Yes, of course I'd come around and seen the new area. It was the old place. looked at with new eyes. Peter! It was Peter! It was that green-shirted bastard played by Mark! Holy!
But why do I have the guilt? Claire in the city.
What happened to Claire?
She's gone.
You foolish...
You made her go.
Me?
You. Yes, you.
Don't you recognise Sir Keith in the Transmigration? 1947, 2012. The classification regime, that's what had done it. I could see myself passing. The pirate flew. Look! I saw it. There it was. The outline, you remember? The resurrection, the outline that I showed you in the paintings earlier. Forming in front of me. Like outer space pictures in southern France caves that have been found. Like astronauts. Martians. I could see myself passing as the pirate flew. My memory was suspended, and others who had existed in their prime were brought forth to reassure me in my quest beyond path, whistle, and beach. I can't. I had taken in this whole Martian atmosphere was clogging my throat as I tried to move forward. I was desperate. I was dying. Instead, I became a part of them. I came upon a society of what we call spirits in old Druidic mythology. Shattered, I saw the mirror of the old define and provide, the old divine world in which I had been cast and shackled and classified and pigeonholed.
Fred. Son! Stand by these, Cop. Stand down. Hey! Excuse me.
And then he's got a note here, Sarge. Hey, Sarge, bring that over here. He's a plant. Well, didn't you take some care to chop your little fingers up and chop your feet up so that we had different gloves and different hands on when the police came to investigate? No, not I. It's not I. I was on trial. Well, have a look at his notes and we might be able to get out of this dreadful temple, this funnel of confusion that 6 characters in search of an author have plunged us into. To reveal the church window. To reveal the Mona Lisa, smashed to pieces. A window pane. The Mona Lisa was smashed to pieces like a window pane in the back of my brain, in the cortex area, where the projector light had come in through the front of my forehead and actually freed her, going over a dark area, as if a flight over a dam. That's what it was, the Lorelei. Plane crashed, first off. We were caught in the middle, stuck between one side and the other, between A and B, between the veneer. That was the operation. It was a psychic operation, an inner flight. And we were caught, smashed in the area and stuck. Had to get out. Jail, Prometheus, Sebastian, crucified. The whole crew was crucified. Just arrows after arrow, after arrow, after arrow. All because I'd embraced this legal calling and turned my back on a deeper yearning, as you heard before. Created this image in my mind which I looked through as if it was a filter, as if my inner spirit was distorted because it searched like a spotlight through this outer layer that formed an image that had been inserted by me because I'd allowed it to come in, because I didn't have the will to take over and fly my own plane, the cockpit, and do my own destiny instead of all this war outside. Jobs, politics, everybody else's idea of what their life is, but not ours, individuals, mine. And this is the story. This diary was found. It came to light. The image was me. The picture, a slide, contained. That was it. That was it. Signed, The Asylum, Ramirez. 10th of October 2011. Fission. Moon had begun to shine through, and I could make out her outline coming through. It was the resurrection, I called this painting. This painting was called the resurrection. It's a card, a part in the game. You deal the card. You paint the picture, throw it out into the ether. You deal a card. I dealt this card. On the horizon. Her. Blue skies. Her form. That's what I called her. Her. Jonah in the whale. It was this obsession. I became obsessed as a gambler, a risk taker, by this desire to crack this nut, solve this problem, this riddle that had been presented to me by the ether. Why did he say Jonah in the whale was Joan. That was the riddle. Was it psychological transvestitism, or whatever they call it these days? Transvestitism? Psychological? Crossing from one pole to another within the mentality? The flight from the masculine, logic, persona, to the feminine psyche? Plato called it finding the perfect match, the other, inside the mind, inside the womb, of the mind, behind it, the universe, the great eternal mind. Was the flight just an inner zoom into a tomb that was unravelled to expand consciousness? Because that's what the game of define and provide seemed to me to be. But then, who knows, to somebody else. Although it was one, it seemed two, an echo at my window. I could see she had black jetted hair, matted with sweat, and she was beautiful. And her eyes, it was her eyes, open as if they flooded like waterfalls, tears. And she was white. She wore a white threadbare dress, but she was black. I saw her in the cell, the Isabel. Mount Isa was what it was called in the cards, the nicknames, to which I was dealt. The card was dealt to me, but to me, in the projection, it seemed as if I was dealt into the arena, the area in which I flew, the area in which I flew. So you see, it was a game. An inner, inverted commas, flight, inverted commas, into the soul, to get past the persona, the mask, conditioned and educated on here, and get into the depth, the deeper regions of who you are. You remember the red shirt? You may not, but if you play the game you'll see it again, because we filmed. You put on this red shirt, give yourself a name, Sir K, if you like. Beginning, the first entrant, the first initiate. Go on the trail, step by step, 39 steps, and see how you go. Swamp on the side, some drown, some are thrown. Excalibur by the maiden, the lady of the lake. I took the flight. I chose aircraft. I chose RAF. I chose flying. Others, army, walk, like Sir Keith, Peter, Michael Cameron, they walked. Others by ship, navy. I chose flight. The metaphor for going along the road within. That's what happened. I saw a glimpse. That was the first thing. I saw a glimpse and I realized she was black and white. Both. Chinese, all nationalities, all souls, outlined in a beautiful figure. Indian.
I've got to get out.
An English death. Madness grips the mind.
I was a QC once, you see.
It's him! He's the camera never tells the truth.
Suzanne. Laying up. Order. She said she cut his throat. That's it. Cheerio. All right, don't. Because he found. It.
Go easy on that stuff, Diana. We've had the parade, ceremonial dinner, men have fallen out, graduates received their commissions, Peter's achievement's been recognised, he's made lieutenant.
Cheers to Peter.
You could be grateful. You owe it to yourself.
I stood next to a young woman while you reviewed the parade. She could not remember her name.
Sandhurst has forgotten. Sandhurst has forgotten. My brother could not be here. A curse on you, the Sampsons, for what you've done.
Mary.
Peter? Peter? A curse on the Sampsons. Your son. Your son. He and Michael were friends. To the Commandant of Sandhurst, Sir Keith, General, and Lady Diana Sampson, a spell upon the damned! Spell upon the damned.
After 7 years. Is it? We'll check. The picture. The picture. That's it. And there. It was there. I remember. To there. Of course. Of course, that's it. It was the blind. The blind went up. The cupboard opened. Of course. And of course I remember. To the head. The film, the cylinder in the head. Into the program. Televised. Printed out. The paper. And it was the bed. Of course. She was in the bed. I know what it was. It was from the window out here. Of course. She came up through, and it was this. I was looking. I remember. I was looking out, and of course, the universe. But it was a clear channel. That night, it was a clear channel. I had a blackout. She told me. Lot 1. She gave me the information. I remember. That's how I found the way out. The transfer back. It was the Order of Magdalene. remember.
Cameron, her brother. Why was he not there? That's what the message of torment in her eyes conveyed to me momentarily in the blaze of the afternoon sun. The clock's hands on the ground past noon, and the cadets filed round and... You stood on the podium, taking your salute, baton in hand, having removed it from under your arm. Like a baboon, standing like a statue in a monsoon, oblivious to all, cocooned by an invisible wall.
Diana, this is supposed to be the graduation day of our boy.
You had weathered the storm. We, all of us, had been pawns. As the cadets had come round, Peter in front of them, her face had suddenly transformed. It had dropped its veil and revealed the crazed grin of a devastated dawn. In the hand of this madam was this newspaper that she clutched in her paw that, as she was carried off, sprawled and read like an open headline that rocketed itself into my head. One linked with cadet disappearances from elite college one by one. Bartholomew Flynn, Thomas Lawrence, Matthew Buchan, Tad London, John Byrne, Andrew Wells, Michael Cameron.
It's too late to be choosy. He's got to be one or the other. He'll do. What does it matter if it's treason or murder? He's convicted. He's got the measurements. One or the other. He'll be classified, categorised. That's all. I hope you're right. I'll defer to you this time. Okay, detective. It's against my better judgment. They won't wait. We must have 10. Got 9. This is number 9. Number 10. Not up to us. They'll decide. If we don't, it's too late. He's in the transitional. That's all we care about. That's all we need know. Amen. The plane came down in West Sussex. Is that what they call it? It's the West. Are you sure he's got the measurements? Are you sure he's got the right measurements? He's got X. Look at the slide. You sure there's no further evidence of Y? The Y line. If there is, he's one of them who dies. No. Take another look. Take another X-ray. Take another X-ray. Take another slide. Click. Use the instrument that was given to us from the architect, the lab. Walls will come in. It doesn't matter, it's nothing to do with us. They're going to design a new... Well, put him in his cell between the walls. The walls will... An architect is going to come in. He's been appointed by the minister. Are you sure there's no evidence of why? No. Thought you said it was X. Not sure, really. It's a mark. He's disfigured. His face. I don't know what to call him. What ID? Well, I've got to enter him into this records book. Just enter him in. Just enter him. Can't speak very well today, can you, Sarge? This early hour of the morning? Just enter him in. He's X or Y or number 9 or 10. It doesn't matter. Throw him into his cell. The walls will come in. An architect is appointed by the minister. God, what are you two detectives doing? You'll be chief jailer for all the... You'll be chief jailer for all of the land.
Stamp him!
Well, you've got to use his ID for something. Bastard! I saw the patient's notes.